Coach Herm Edwards, our good buddy with Armen and Levack, 104.5. The team, Coach Herm Edwards, now a part of the MLFB. We want him to explain to us what that is and why we should be excited. Look, we all love football. More football is coming our way. This is great news. Yes. And Coach Herm will tell us all about it. Coach Herm, your expectations of JPP this weekend with the Giants if he does play?
Well, I mean, it's going to be limited at best, as we know. He hasn't played, hadn't been participating in training or anything like that on his own, obviously, but not playing football. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts once he's in the game. I know the opposing opponent will probably try to run the ball at him and force him to try to stop the run even before he gets into the pass mode. But it's good to see him back. The Giants obviously can use him defensively. When you think about this defense, was allowed 35 points in the last 3 losses. So he can be a big plus for him getting after the quarterback.
With the Jets' defense being kind of exposed, and we heard they got figured out by Oakland, do you believe that, or do you think it's just one of those situations where they, maybe somehow jet lag, whatever it is, and this week they'll be right back to their old ways?
Well, I think a couple things happened there. Obviously, didn't get to the quarterback, and that's a problem for any pass defense. When you think about, how they put pressure on quarterbacks, this team is a team, when you think about the Jets, as good as they are on defense, they don't have a lot of sacks when you think about it. When you look at this team play, I mean, they got 11 sacks, and that's not a good number for a defense like this. They're very good against the run. They do a great job against the pass, but when you have time to expose some of those players, and they were a little bit wounded in the back end, the Raiders took advantage of it.
Coach Herm, are you sold as with Chris Ivory being an elite rusher in this league?
Well, I think I don't know about elite. I do know this. Last 2 weeks, he's averaging about 1.8 yards a carry. In the 4 wins that they won, it was 5.5. So they got to get that going back to help the quarterback and to help this offense, because this is an offense that doesn't play very well when it has to catch up, as you know. So, yeah, they're going to have to get him running again, and if they can do that, establish a line of scrimmage, they have a fantastic the ability to win a football game.
Coach, when you look at the new look Buffalo Bills under Rex Ryan, what do you see in that football team?
Well, I see a team that has a lot of talent, obviously, and when Tyrod Taylor is playing, this offense seems to find its way. He's done a nice job. 3-2 as a starter, 9 touchdowns, passing and 2 running. When they get behind, that's where the problem comes. And we think about Tyrod Taylor, because now he's forced to throw. When they can run the football and create balance and get him on the edge, throwing the ball, they're pretty good offensively. Defensively, as we know, haven't gotten to the quarterback a whole lot. And that's a problem, because that exposes their secondary. And then fouls. They have a lot of fouls, 72 fouls. That's almost averaging 10 penalties a game, and that's way too many. Because you keep teams' drives alive on defense, and obviously on offense, you hurt yourself and put yourself behind the chain.
Coach Herm Edwards with Armen and Levack, former Jets coach, of course, here on your home for New York sports. And, Coach, you are a part of now the Major League Football, brand new, and it is a new spring professional football league. We love football, baby. Football all the time is a beautiful thing. What is it about the MLFB that made you want to be a part of this?
Well, it's really what we call it is a league to really give players and enhance them the ability to maybe get to the National Football League. When you think about it, there's a window of opportunity here for players that get cut, young players especially, that need training, that need another year and need tape to learn how to play this great game. And our game of football anymore, especially at the professional level, you run out of time, and you run out of because of the rules and the restrictions on really playing tackle football anymore, how you practice. And that really hurts the development of a lot of players in this league. I remember Brandon Moore when he was with the Jets, and he was a defensive tackle when we drafted him, or we signed him as a free agent. And I can remember the first season, I told him, I looked at him, I said, "Look, I can put you on the practice squad, but we want you to play guard." And he looked at me and said, "Coach, you're trying to cut me." I said, "No, I'm not trying to cut you." He said, "But I want to develop you." And I said, "The best place to do that is the World League. You need to go over there and play and learn how to play guard." It's a change of position, I know, but when you come back, you'll be a better player and you'll be a guard. Well, sure enough, he goes over there. He comes back the next year. He ends up starting, I think, for about 11 or 12 years for the Jets. And was a Pro Bowl guard. So this is a league developed to develop young players, coaches, as well as officials, and have some fun with it. And I think when you look at the development of our league, as far as developing quarterbacks, linemen, things of that nature, they have to play. Well, this will allow them to play football.
Hey, Coach, how will the MLFB players be associated with the NFL draft? Will they be available to be drafted?
We won't get involved in that. What we're going to do, our league starts, in March. That's when spring starts. And so basically what will happen is, let's just say the practice squad players that are on some teams this year, and you want to know more about them, they could actually play in our league and then come back in time for training camp into July and August. And coaches can get tape on them, can watch them, you can develop them. Because the problem is, for most coaches anymore, the restrictions don't allow you to practice in pads. And so the only time you really get to watch these guys are in the preseason. But with that being said, you're talking about 90 players. And so the reps of some of these guys, they don't get them, whether it's due to injury or whatever it may be. So this is a league that when you think about players anymore, you go from high school to college and then pro. Well, if you don't make it at a pro roster your first year or two, where do you go?
Coach, one thing you mentioned is that it's reps for referees. In today's game, is this game more complicated than ever to be a referee and an official?
Well, there's a lot of rules, and these guys are under scrutiny all the time, it seems, because there's always cameras watching and everything they do. It's become a little bit of a debate as far as when we see stuff sometimes, even though we watch it on television and we replay it over and over, we have conflicting, decisions to make. I mean, there's conflict, there's conversation. Some person sees it this way, the other person sees it the other way, and then the official sees it this way, and then the first thing we say as we're having a conversation, well, they got a different angle, and maybe we didn't get the angle, and you're questioning it. And so this is the world they live in. I mean, look at the Miami game. I mean, they went up there for 15 minutes and looked at the Miami play, and as soon as the play happened, the first thing I said to myself was, wait a minute, you mean there wasn't a penalty on that play?
Right.
There had to be a penalty, at least one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And they went up there and looked at it, and then they ruled, it's good. Well, later on, everybody's looking at it going, well, how about this? How about that foul? How about that foul? Well, that's the scrutiny these guys run.
Coach Herm, part of the MLFB, Major League Football, the answer to your demands for a spring professional football league that's explosive, innovative, and focused on the fan experience. At MLFB Official on Twitter, MLFB.com as well, coming to cities near you this spring. Coach Herm, you're one of our faves. Always great talking to you.
Thank you, guys. Take care now. Talk to you later.